Over the last four explainers, we've really dug into some wild technologies, right? We've talked about Amazon Sidewalk, Wi-Fi motion sensing, your smart TV watching you back, ultrasonic tracking, Bluetooth beacons, the list goes on. And yeah, each one is pretty unsettling on its own, but for our series finale, we're going to put it all together. We're going to show you what happens when all these systems start talking to each other. This is the complete picture. So here's how we're going to connect all these dots. We'll start by just walking through a totally normal day. Then we'll expose the connective tissue that ties all this data together. From there, we'll get into the business model behind it all. And trust me, it's a surprising one you're already funding. We'll also look at a huge legal loophole being used, and we'll be really careful to separate what's happening right now from what could happen next before pulling it all together to show you that complete picture. All right, so to really understand how this all works, we're not going to get bogged down in abstract tech talk. Instead, we're just going to follow one person through a completely ordinary, run-of-the-mill day. You'll see exactly how these systems weave themselves into real life. Okay, so picture this. It's 6 a.m., you roll out of bed, your Wi-Fi router, using its motion sensing capabilities, logs that you're up. 7 a.m., you leave for work. Your Ring doorbell captures a video of you walking out. And on your commute, Flock Safety's license plate readers log your car at probably a dozen intersections. You pop into a coffee shop. Inside, Bluetooth beacons are silently pinging your phone, tracking your path to the counter. The whole day at work, every single time an ad loads on your phone, an auction happens in milliseconds that broadcasts your exact location to hundreds of companies. On the way home, you make a quick stop at a pharmacy. A data broker logs that visit with 1-meter accuracy. By the time it's 9 p.m., a full detailed record of your entire day exists, and it's all tied directly to your name. And here's the kicker. None of this required a warrant. Nobody had to hack anything. It all just happened through legal, commercial products you probably own. So you're probably wondering, how do all those little separate pieces of data, from your router, your car, your phone, get woven together into a single story about you? Well, that's where the real engine of this whole ecosystem comes in, the data broker industry. They are the connective tissue. So really, how do you go from all these random, isolated events to one single, unified profile of a person? The whole game is about linking dozens of these different data streams back to one identity. It's basically a 4-step pipeline. First, they just collect. They hoover up location data from thousands of mobile apps, from those ad auctions we mentioned, and even from other data brokers. Second, they match. They take your phone's supposedly anonymous ad ID, figure out where that phone sleeps every night, and then cross-reference that location with public property records to get your real name and address. Third, they append. They start piling on everything else, your age, your income, your education, marital status, and all the interests they can guess based on where you go. And finally, step 4, they package this whole profile up and sell it.
And look, I need to be crystal clear here. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This entire pipeline has been laid out in excruciating detail by the Federal Trade Commission. In just a little over 2 years, the FTC has brought major actions against 5 of the biggest names in this game: Kochava, XMode, InMarket, Gravy Analytics, and Mobilewalla. And you know what they found in every single case? The exact same business model: collect, match, and sell our most private data.
So this brings us to the money. Let's talk about the economics of this whole thing. Because this giant surveillance system, it wasn't just built around you, it was actually built by you. Just think about the actual transaction for a second. You bought a Ring doorbell, and Amazon got a free piece of its nationwide sidewalk network. You bought a smart TV, and Vizio got your viewing data, which they've basically admitted is more valuable to them than the TV itself. You pay your internet bill every month, and your ISP gets data about when you're home and moving around. You use a free app, and data brokers get a map of your entire life. See the pattern? You paid for the device, you pay for the electricity, you pay for the internet, they get the real asset, your data. And this just nails this central problem, doesn't it? We've all heard that old saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. But that's not what's happening here. The thing is, you are paying. You're paying for every single piece of it, the phone, the TV, the router, and you're still the product. Okay, so we've got this enormous commercial surveillance machine. But what happens when the customer isn't just trying to sell you sneakers, but is actually the government? Well, this is where we find a giant backdoor that goes right around our constitutional rights. It's a concept called the Fourth Amendment backdoor. Now, the Fourth Amendment is supposed to protect you from unreasonable searches, which means the government usually needs a warrant to track you. But what if they don't have to track you themselves? What if they can just buy your entire location history from a private company that already did all the tracking for them? And again, this is not a what if, it's documented fact. FTC cases have shown that a company called Ventel sold our location data to agencies like ICE and Customs and Border Protection. Xmode sold location data to U.S. military contractors. Mobilewalla even handed over data from LGBTQ plus dating apps to its government clients. This is commercial surveillance feeding directly into government surveillance, and it completely sidesteps the whole warrant process.
And this isn't some fringe issue that nobody's noticed. The problem is so well known that a bipartisan bill called the Fourth Amendment is Not for Sale Act was introduced in Congress for the specific purpose of closing this data broker loophole. And one of the biggest fire hoses of this data is the ad system that's on basically every phone. The FTC's case against Mobilewalla revealed something pretty shocking. Every time your phone goes to load an ad, it broadcasts your precise location and your device's ID to hundreds of companies all at once. It's a lightning-fast auction. The system itself is basically a constant location broadcasting machine, running all day, every day in your pocket.
Okay, so I want to take a pause here. Everything we have talked about up to this point is documented. It is happening right now. But it is really important to draw a very clear line between the current facts and where this technology is logically headed. So let's be absolutely clear. The confirmed, documented facts of this surveillance ecosystem, they end here. What comes next isn't science fiction. It's just what becomes possible when you put all these existing technologies together. Technologies that are already out there at massive scale.
I mean, with data this good, real-time person tracking could just be another commercial service you could buy. Machine learning could be used to predict where you're going to be tomorrow. Your entire social network could be mapped out just by seeing which phones spend time near each other. Insurers could start pricing your policy based on whether your phone goes to a bar or a gym more often. And governments could track dissent by just buying data showing who was at a protest, which, by the way, the FTC complaint against Gravi Analytics showed is already happening.
All right, let's pull all these threads together. Let's look at the final, complete picture. Here's the most important takeaway. The most powerful, most persistent surveillance system in human history was not built by a secret spy agency. It was built in plain sight by consumer electronics companies, app developers, and data brokers. And it was funded, piece by piece, device by device, by hundreds of millions of regular people. And it all operates right out in the open, through perfectly legal commercial channels. And if you want to understand the scale we're talking about, just look at one tiny piece of this whole puzzle. Amazon's Sidewalk network, which is powered entirely by consumer devices that you and I bought, already covers more than 90% of the US population. And that's just one layer of this massive system. So we'll end with this one question. This incredible surveillance system wasn't built by spies. It was sold to us in retail stores, one gadget at a time. So what does that say about the kind of future we're all buying into?